Episode 414. When using Flying Gun, the character touches down far more frequently than with Flying Cannon. But under Joe Zekai's masterful control, Cloudpiercer skimmed across the track like a dragonfly skimming the water. The first hurdle was already upon them, yet there was no sign of him adjusting his camera angle to look at it. He simply tilted his firing angle slightly downward, gave a light hop, and Cloudpiercer skimmed perfectly past the hurdle's edge, not jumping a single fraction more than necessary. The electronic screen immediately cut to a replay of the maneuver. The applause in the arena was thunderous. This was Samsara's home turf, which meant it was Joe Zekai's home turf. Here, he was absolutely the most popular player, bar none. Among the other 7, one pro player was a witch, who now flew low on her broom, quickly gaining a slight lead. When encountering a hurdle, the character made a slight mid-air adjustment, soaring over it with a single, fluid motion. These are fundamental skills, and the vast majority of pro players have them down solid. It's basically impossible to judge who's better based on a single move. Besides, judging a player's skill solely by their mechanics isn't scientific. Mechanics are just one part of a player's overall ability, much like ball control is just one aspect of a footballer's skill. Aside from these 2 with their unique movement styles, the other 6 were far more conventional, simply running along the ground. But the 2 pro players quickly pulled ahead of the other 4 spectators. Whether it was the movement speed bonuses from their gear or their mastery of pacing, pros were naturally far superior to average players. This gap was obvious at a glance. If they just keep running this race by the book, there won't be much suspense at all. But how could a race with no rules possibly be run by the book? What everyone was waiting for was for the chaos to start. The crowd didn't have to wait long. One of the pro players broke the silence first. His character was a battle mage. While it lacked special movement skills, it did have ways to boost its own speed. As he passed the first hurdle, he thrust out a dragon tooth, shattering the bar. A non-attacking spiral pattern appeared behind him. If he could just get this spiral to land a hit, he'd immediately gain the speed-boosting spiral state. The spiral shot couldn't be used on the hurdles, only on other players. The adjacent lanes were packed with spectators. While the rules didn't strictly forbid it, this player clearly felt a bit sheepish about bullying a casual gamer. So, his Dragon Tooth strike was ultimately aimed at another competitor on the lane 1 over. You think a pro player would get hit that easily? That berserker leaped onto another lane to dodge the attack. Yes, he cut in. But this competition had no rules, so cutting lanes was perfectly acceptable. Without a moment's hesitation, the battle mage swerved into the lane to give chase, clearly determined to score those ball chaser buffs off the pro player. The pro players were clearly quicker to get into the spirit of things. While the 4 audience members were still running obediently in their own lanes, these 2 were already going at it, and the witch in second place was also getting ideas. Seeing that Joe Zekai's Cloudpiercer wasn't slowing down in the slightest, he wanted to inflict some damage on him too. So he kept pelting Cloudpiercer with the most basic spell, Magic Bullet. Cloudpiercer was already flying backward, his view perfectly clear. He immediately began adjusting his firing angles, his character weaving and changing direction, no longer confined to a single flight path. The high-tempo directional shifts were like a butterfly weaving through flowers, a display so dazzling it left the live audience spellbound, and another wave of thunderous applause erupted. Seeing that the magic missile was completely ineffective, the witch player began another, slightly longer incantation. The character's hand flung out a pentagram, which whooshed through the air, transforming into a beam of light that shot straight toward Cloudpiercer. This is the witch skill Nova Ray. Nova Ray is extremely fast and difficult to dodge, but difficult doesn't mean impossible. The greater the challenge, the more players must strive to overcome it, and the more it showcases their true skill. For a top-tier Glory Pro, dodging a Nova Ray isn't exactly a monumental task, especially one thrown out so casually, without any tactical setup. 9 times out of 10, it's going to miss. This player wasn't ignorant of that fact, but it wasn't some serious competition, just a game for the audience's entertainment. No need to overthink it, just throw out whatever skills you have and see what sticks. That Nova Ray was fired off with exactly that kind of relaxed mindset. Of course, Joe Zekai wasn't going to get hit. The instant the ray flashed out, his cloud piercer had already leapt up lightly, dodging the Nova Ray and, in the process, clearing a hurdle. With a sharp crack, the Nova Ray struck the hurdle. Its immense magical force instantly blasted the wooden barrier to splinters. Amid the flurry of wood chips, no one heard the soft, distinct click, but any experienced player would have recognized it instantly, the sound of a bullet being chambered. And this wasn't for a regular attack, this was a skill. As the wood chips settled, the witch was still desperately trying to fly forward on her broom, only to find the cold, dark muzzle of a gun already aimed right at her. The gunshot was deafening. The muzzle flash erupted like a small explosion, and the blast of propellant gas from the compensator kicked up a swirling cloud of dust around Cloudpiercer. Just from the sheer spectacle of the skill, you could tell the damage from this shot was going to be absolutely devastating. This was the sharpshooter's most powerful ultimate skill, the Barrett Sniper. Indeed, the weapon now held by Cloudpiercer was precisely this massive sniper rifle. After all, this is just a game. When a skill is used, the relevant item will simply materialize in the character's hand for the sake of the visual effect. No one in heaven or on earth knows where these props actually come from. At that range, trying to dodge a Barrett sniper shot after seeing the muzzle flash isn't just difficult, it's flat out impossible. The witch's head was struck by the bullet, instantly exploding into a cloud of crimson mist. A headshot also triggered the Barrett sniper's hidden effect, dealing double damage. However, while it looked like the witch had been headshot, it was just a game effect. He'd taken massive damage, but he wasn't dead yet. But his forward charge was finally halted. The shot blasted into his head, and his skull, like a locomotive, dragged his entire body flying backward. In the blink of an eye, the one who had been in second place was blasted all the way back to last.